I'd like to call the Board and Education Business Committee meeting to order for Tuesday, June 21st. We respectfully acknowledge that we are meeting on the traditional and ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people. I understand that Trustee Doman will be late. Any news for Trustee Doman? First item is the adoption of the agenda. Trustee DeGroot, Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Minutes of the April 26, 2016 Board and Education Business Committee meeting. So moved. You don't seem to have your computer today. You look.
I know. I'm just peeking over.
I don't have both. Second by Trustee Croft. All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Action list. It's on page 7, I believe. Who's speaking to this? Ron?
Sure. Communication goals as we go through, get deeper in with the website and with the strategic planning process beginning to be complete. We need to be reviewing the board communication goals.
Can I ask when you mean beginning to be complete? This nearing completion?
The strategic planning process?
Yes.
Well, we haven't put it out to the public yet. It hasn't been printed yet. Those things should be completed, the printing and so forth, either over the summer, or we'll hold it just so trustees can view it before it goes to print first thing in September, but we'll have it.
And that's going to have magical pictures and colors and...
Not a dry eye in the house.
Okay, great. Yes.
Open and copy sweeping.
Any questions about the action list? And then moving on to petitions and delegations. We have none. Education district website. Glenn.
So we thought we'd ask Glenn to sort of walk us a little bit more slowly through the website. There was a meeting today, tomorrow, and the next day. I think there's been a series of morning meetings going through every piece of content, because we know when things get translated over, there's errors from time to time. So trying to pick all those things up and making sure that we have the right content, etc. So I'll let Glenn sort of walk us through some of the features and what's there and where we could find things. And
sure. I mean, the first bit, we've got very good search functionality now right off the search box. So if you're looking for something via keyword and you can't find it directly through sort of the logic of the navigation, you can go right to that search box. Each of these areas is being built out as we go forward. So the for students area we're working on right now. For parents, we've brought some specific things over, such as the district calendar direct link and the erase link. And also, if you either click on more or click right on the tab, each of these will take you to a page that will give you more information and more details. So links to the ministry for our parents. Also, what comes up is further side navigation and features in each area. Same thing for staff, quick links to webmail, to MyEd, to our SS-DAS and library services, things like that. And if I click on that, it's going to take us to a page that we're building out that will have all the resources that we hope our staff will be looking for when they come in: job opportunities, curriculum resources, policies, things like that. So that will continue to get built out. Employment, pretty straightforward. And then translate, if we've got international visitors, they can click on translate, and they can choose their language. It is a Google translation, so there it is converted to French. We could go to Chinese, and the way Google's building this out is it's sort of like a social media. People use their site, they put in phrases and correct it. So this is a sort of a social knowledge base that's continuing to build. So the translations will get better and better as it goes forward. But that's sort of a global process. Something that our other site and many district sites seem to lack. How do we contact the board office, and where are you?
Right. at
one of
the
the
top.
common things that the committee, when we were working through this, found that you go to other sites and, okay, we know what district you are, but how do we talk to you? So,
Does that mean we have to paint the board office now?
so,
They're gonna
yes,
find us.
they can find us.
I have to paint it blue.
And so if you bring this up on a cell phone, you should be able to click directly on this and it'll dial. Everything else we've moved, the information that we had in our previous site and are, as Rob was saying, working through and cleaning it up. We've got some features now such as all of our page have a standard look, and our historical documents are there. If we go into, let's go back to.
And before you go on, Trustee Smith had a question?
Sure.
So Glenn, a couple weeks ago, due to health reasons, I couldn't attend a board meeting, so I wanted to play catch up before a special open, and I could not find anywhere on the page the open board meeting. So where are they located, or have you just put them up there recently?
Let's have, now Gina, you've been posting, I'll ask that question, and it's going under district
I
news?
put the 7 up today, actually, so you wouldn't have been able to find it. We were in a little bit of a lull as we were getting some access. But if you go under district news
Yeah,
and click under board,
There's the video of the June 7th.
Yeah.
okay, so it's up now.
yeah, it's up.
Okay.
Yeah. So anybody coming in, it's divided into sort of 3 categories: district news, board news, which is now starting to populate with current information. You click on the little ellipsis here to get to the information, and then if we look, for example, around SU 79, we've got the Cobble Hill Lieutenant's visit, and if we click there, it'll take us to some information and photos, and we can get access to the video as well. Just gonna go. We've got some new features and organization aspects that were asked for. One was just our structure and how we're able to look for people and access. So we now have filter by name. You can filter by department. You can look by position. And so this is something that we borrowed from the CBRD that we saw out there and we really liked. Also, if we go to our schools, we now have an interactive map. I can zoom in and find various school locations. I can also click on it, and it will tell me the school and the phone number and how to access the school office. I can also find school with a drop down. So if I'm looking for Cowichan Secondary, it'll show me geographically where it is.
Trustee Croft?
Are we linking to the new curriculum or the BC Administrative Ed?
For our parents,
Yeah.
that is there,
Okay.
and also that'll be embedded, I'm certain, in our curriculum as we continue to revise that. That's what we've been working on the last number of days, is actually building out our curriculum, cleaning up and starting to add. But it's time and lots of hours. You forget how many, I mean, this site is 8 years old, and how many hundreds and hundreds of hours different people have putting content in. So now it's to continue to move that forward.
It occurred to me that with the new curriculum, that might be a top of mind question with people, and it might be helpful to get into the ministry website as well fairly easily.
Right front and center.
But I can't read what is in the last column there. It's
Sorry, I'll enlarge that. I've got it shrunk down so it fits on the screen a little bit better.
And so, can I access the website for the school on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So you
So
can
they'll
go.
be there?
Yeah, so you would go to any of these and you would click. It's the old templates at this point in time, and the new templates we're starting to convert. So it's the old template, and the new template is built, but we're now converting our data in. So this is the next step, is to get all our schools with their child, what we call a child theme, and just see if Alex Aiken, Sean was working on this morning. Yeah, so it's almost there. We've got to add some more of the features, and once he's got that, every every school will have a site. So right now, it's blank and empty. That'll be coming in the.
But it'll be branded
In-
similar to the rest of the
it'll be
website, so you
branded,
know that you're still
yeah.
in the district website.
So are we doing this largely in-house now, or is the
Yeah.
contractor still working?
Basically, the contractor is now on any bug fixes, anything that's reported. And that's why it was important for us was to get it live at this time, rather than if we went live in August and then everybody comes back and, oh, we've got this bug and that bug. It was important to get all of these little challenges sort of worked through so that we're ready to go for startup. So I don't know how much deeper to go or more questions.
Trustee Cobb?
Is the search an embedded Google search as well, is that there?
I don't believe this is using a Google.
Okay.
It's using a different algorithm, but if I was looking for example, district calendar. So it's going to return everything that's sitting in our database. So some of these will be older. There's previous year, and then the first result is this year's.
Trustee Spilsbury?
Thank you, it looks so much better, and it looks like I'll be able to find things when I go in it. I'm still concerned about the ability to read it. It still is very faint for me, and I know that there has been some work on that. Is this the level of adjustment that we're going for?
We can probably push it darker. The older projectors certainly take a lot of the crispness away compared to what the new computer screens. But if we need to go darker or bolder, that's all possible in the market.
So I guess my
Trustee
question.
Spilsbury, if you just take a look at the superintendents, it's much better than it was before.
Yes, it is. It's still faint though.
The white printing needs to be a little.
It's the dark printing. It's in gray instead of black. Is that what's making it faint?
That's typical, and I know when we work on our website, I always change it to black. I find gray really hard to read.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's certainly feedback I can take back to the developer. That's an easy. There's just a color code change that he does in the markup.
And so I'm just wondering about the review process. Is it kind of as people see something, they send something to you, or how is there a formal review piece?
So feedback, I mean, our committee, once we finished and sort of signed off with the approval, the developer has built it, and we've brought the information in, and at this point, it's people in the field that are looking at it and saying, oh, I've spotted something, or they're sending a feature request. So we don't have a formal sort of form or anything like that at this point.
Okay, so our feedback then goes to Elizabeth, who's our rep.
I mean, it can come to Elizabeth, or it can come directly to the help desk, which then queues it all up, and we take it from there and work on that.
Yeah, especially when we're in this early stage of trying to work through, and there's more to catch now than hopefully there will be in 2 weeks when there's sort of gone through more rinse cycles. So yeah, you could send it to Elizabeth, send it to me, send it to Glenn. We just want it noted somewhere.
Okay.
Would you like a more definite answer?
No, I'm
All
happy
of
to
the
send
above.
stuff on, but it's
Don't-
probably just as easy just to connect directly with Glenn, I think. I don't need to.
Yeah, and that's fine. It can come directly to me as well.
Okay.
Trustee DeGroote?
I actually have to say that I support Trustee Spilsbury's request to have double done with the printing. I had a community member say to me, it looks beautiful, but it's really hard to read.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's good feedback. The other thing is that this is a responsive frame that we've built on, so it's built for any device. So here's what it looks like on phone. and it's designed to stack, and then if you want to get access, you go to your hamburger button in the top right there, and you would go to your other tabs and get access to your information. So it's all, and you can actually see it's sharper on
I
the
was gonna, yeah.
it's sharper on the phone than it is on the desktop.
Trustee Spilsbury, that's okay, that's what we're here for.
Okay, just one other thing. We are in the middle of producing a district strategic priorities plan. And some of the language there, I think, would be different than what's posted. For example, learning for a new tomorrow is different language than our vision statement. So when do we align our district priorities work with the website?
We could do that. Now, this is still from the original build that they put out. So
Anytime, that's simply a tagline. I could change it in front of you right now in about 30 seconds. So it's very fluid, and as we catch things, and
It came with the old logo on it last week. Or
yeah.
2
So
weeks
this is
ago,
the new
and
logo.
then
We just
put
haven't
the new
changed
logo on
the
it.
changed the new
That's all
tagline.
stuff that's in the mix.
Just on the logo, we can get those endlessly. So, I mean, if we wanted, we could do, for instance, curiosity counting, or, you know.
She really
Where
wants
are you
that.
going with this?
But, no, I mean, you could go like sports or field hockey. I mean, you could say absolutely anything with that. It's free to get, and it's really just doing a little paperwork. So if you ever want to follow that up, and then, I don't know, you could cycle them through or put them on different pages or stuff like that. So there's room for some fun.
So is there a website behind this website in terms of for staff, resources, that type of stuff that the public wouldn't get at? But
Glenn, could you go off your phone app and go back to the
You bet.
for me,
You
please?
bet.
It's gonna drive me crazy. Thank you.
It's about 5 times faster than I would have managed that.
So, to answer your question, we've got secure portals for different staff. We've got for principals, and we've got our learning assistant, resource teachers. We've got various portals where that type of information goes. The staff one here right now, there isn't anything that we would consider private that we would not want the public to get into for confidentiality. But if we need to, it's just a matter of creating another portal and setting that secure login.
any other questions?
Yeah, so right now the principal's repository is passworded.
Yes.
Because that is one thing that's on here, that's a place we use for moving documents back and forth, and it's, you can access it through the website, and it's password.
Any other questions on that? Ben, thanks very much, and thanks for all your passion and effort on this project.
You're very welcome. Yeah, well, we've got the shiny new car. We just need to finish building the interior now.
And I think what I'm learning through this process, the first time I've gone through this, is the fact that there's various stages and layers of this. So from building the initial look, feel, basic framework, to then populating it, to fixing, because the web guys can't fix the text. And then the amount of work going through, again, now every morning there's a team meeting to sort of start to go through as other people are seeing things. You know, Danny noticed she wasn't principal. Somehow some glitch got in, Jill was principal at bench, so you know, all that stuff gets, it's just when you're moving that much data around, stuff happens. So we sort of go through that phase now for the next couple of weeks, and then hopefully get this increasingly locked down. Huge amount of work, thank you, Glenn.
Trustee Croft?
One quick one. Can I sit in on one of those team meetings?
Oh, certainly.
Just sit in. I didn't sort of see how it's done and how the process takes out new information.
Sure.
Okay, I'll send you an email.
Okay, and I can send you when
That would be lovely, thank you.
Mr. to send her an email on archaic email systems.
As long as it arrives.
Revised graduation program and examinations, Mr. Allen.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just thought you might want the opportunity, and I have less presentation, more just opportunity for questions. There is no new information that's out. The ministry is in the process of putting it, so for example, they've sort of dressed up their product a little bit more in the last few days. There sort of is no hugely new information. What does seem to be changing is their Q&As. As they're getting more questions, they're going, that's a good question. And working through it. And most of those are around, what about the kids that are currently midway through the program? If I'm only in grade 10, but I've already taken this grade 11 subject and I've already written the exam, does that count? Or if I haven't written the exam, and so they're not quite one-offs, but they're quite particular and specific questions, and they're just working through those as they go, and then they post it up to the Q&A section. So this handout that you got today, I think is one of it's the most recent piece, and I think has a good summary table on it. And essentially what it's saying is kids going into grade 10 and 17, 18 will be graduating completely under the new program. They're the first year of the entirely new. And everything before that is grandfathered in some way into some part of the current program. And that's mostly around what type of assessments the students have to take. The number of credits stays the same in the new grad program. The exams and how they are, and the types of assessments are really what's changing.
Excuse me, Mr. Superintendent, Trustee Croft doesn't have one of these.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's feeling a little singled out.
Well,
Thank you.
My mistake.
Trustee Schmidt?
You're welcome, Trustee Croft.
Oh.
So I just need some clarification. You said that a grade 10 student in
17, 18 school year.
but on the bottom of this sheet here, students who have completed courses associated with discontinued exams by June 30th, 2016, which is now, will have until June 2000 to write. If you start a course in July and August, will not be required.
Those are those kids that I was referring to that are sort of midway in between. If you're, so with this 17, 18, if you're just coming to grade 10, if you're entering grade 10 in 17, 18, you're completely under the new program. Everybody else is in some limbo in between the two.
But I don't understand what happens to the grade 10s in September 2016. Our grade 10s in 2 months' time.
Yeah.
They're starting it. They don't have to write any provincial exam.
They may be in a place where they've already taken a course.
Yeah. Then social studies 11 maybe.
Possibly, and so they could be, depending what they've taken and how their program's arranged, could be sort of hanging in midway and so on.
Okay. So that a year from now they'll be totally free, but wouldn't it be the vast majority be actually on the new program in September?
Maybe we could go to the next page.
Okay.
And go through provincial exam transition year, please.
Yeah.
So for this coming fall, so this table applies to this coming September. The grade 10 students will follow the current graduation program requirements. They have to take a math 10, a language arts 10, and a science 10. But without the provincial assessment, they will have classroom-based assessments. And will have to write a provincial math skills exam and a provincial literacy exam before graduation. Those may not be ready next year. It's not completely clear when kids would write those. Sometime before they graduate.
Trustee Croft.
Within the new curriculum as it was being developed, is there still an emphasis that there has to be one exam at the middle of the year, or is there anybody thinking about ongoing assessment? I've had this question from students, why do we have to write it all at the end of the year? Why can't we write big tests 3 or 4 times during the year instead of one big one at the end?
There's no reason why they would have to write one big exam at the end of the year.
But that's what's required now, so I was just wondering.
But that's what's gone now. That's what's no longer required.
As of June 30th.
Those big, as of June 30th, those biggest year-end assessments.
But there are some at grade 12, right, that are still writing exams.
This year,
Only this year.
yeah, they're gone. They will not be writing them next year.
That's awesome.
So with a classroom-based assessment, you quite likely would not hopefully, you would not wait and do a single exam at the end of the course. So there's
Right.
still a teacher-based or classroom-based assessments for Math 10, Language Arts 10, Science 10 for
I'm
next
so
year.
sorry, I have been misreading this for a while, because okay, thank you
So,
so much.
so hopefully that would be ongoing,
Yep.
wouldn't be based on a single big exam at the end of the year.
But sometime, and that's still the mystery, is sometime in that 3-year period, they've got to write a math skills and a literacy skills exam.
Yes,
Okay,
They're not tagging it
that's,
to English 12
Right.
or math 10.
and they're not saying at this point it must happen in your grade 10 year or your grade 11 year or your grade 12 year.
okay.
There
So
will
they
be
still
clarity,
occur. Okay.
but it won't be a
great.
course-based exam. It will be, I'm not
I know
having
where
seen
you're
it,
going.
but
I see where you're going.
more a competency-based like FSA as opposed to
Right.
specific content. It's,
Don't say
I know I can't say that word, but it will feel more like that, I think.
that. Yes.
It will be on your math skills, not
I think I
specific
was
to a
just
specific
interpreting
course.
that as an exam. Okay. Thank you.
So, let me ask, do you expect, sorry, Trustee Peter first.
So it is possible that a student could write that exam in grade 10?
I don't know the answers to that.
Well, it just says before graduation, so that would imply it's at the student's choice when they're writing.
Probably not for next year, because they
Yeah.
probably won't be written.
But in,
Yeah, but yes. There's also talk of some upcoming, there might be a grade 10 math assessment. Rumors and stories of that.
So, well, that maybe answers my question. So by grade 11, there's 3 streams, right now there's 3 streams of math and 2 streams of English. So do they envision a single literacy test and a single math test?
Yes. Getting to the point, it matters less what the course is and more what your skills are. You could take Communications 12 and be phenomenal at reading and writing, and so the fact it's in Communications 12 may not be as big an indicator. And I think what employers and the post-sacs are looking for is simply an indication of where your skill level is. You're reading and at what level of competency, and writing and at what level of competency. Same with mathematics. Well, like I say, there's rumors now of something else maybe popping up in math. If you guys are hearing any of that. I'm hearing some math 10 stories.
So, you often hear that, teachers feel constrained, obligated to teach to the exam. So on a skills assessment, what's the preparation strategy?
Lots of reading, lots of writing. I mean, I think that's the point, is it moves back to more, not covering curriculum in that same way, because the curriculum shifted quite significantly.
Yes, yeah.
But it's, are your students able to write? Have you taught them to write, and are they able to demonstrate that? And to what level? So it's less, I'm checking all the curriculum boxes, because that content they have to be able to name the characters out of 10 Shakespeare plays. That's not a writing assessment. So those kinds of things will start to disappear, will have disappeared.
Seems tough to do from math.
that's, like I said, so in math, I think that's where there's continued conversation, and I'm, like I say, I'm hearing some rumors that there's talk of a grade 10 math assessment done provincially. Not really sure how that links into this exactly. It is a bit tougher in math.
Sorry, one more. Could you refresh me on how the post-secondary education folks are with the assessment versus an exam? Or are they,
If you're in a post-secondary institution,
if you're looking to?
Looking to enter?
Yeah, well, looking to enter, or when they're looking at kids who are doing exams versus assessments.
I think a lot of the post-secs have come to the place, and again, BC is the last province that has entrance or has graduation exams like we
Yeah.
currently do this week,
Mhm.
and won't next week, but currently. And where some of the post-secondaries are struggling is that those don't necessarily tell the whole story either. We got an A or a B in the course, and yes, 20% of that or whatever was an exam, but does that really, I don't know if you can write.
Mhm.
And if you're coming into a creative writing program, we need to know that up front. So I don't care about the course, I care about, let's see some of your writing, let's see what that looks like. So it's,
So we're moving into kind of a multi-world when it comes to assessing kids are moving forward.
yeah, and I wouldn't suggest that this is done.
Yeah.
This is, I believe, an interim phase. Well, they think about what those provincial assessments look like in English and mathematics. Because it's a bit clearer in English. I think it's a bit of a head scratcher in math as to what that looks like. And I could speculate wildly and I won't.
Sure.
But I think there's lots more to that story. What they're doing is sort of giving some time and space for folks to figure that out.
Thanks for your time, Mr. Chair.
The career education courses, any idea of why they're getting rid of planning, which is not just career education, it's 5 different.
At DSAC, the Student Advisory Council said that class is a complete and utter waste of time and wanted it removed. Students spoke very clearly on how they felt about that course, just so you know. We got a lot of feedback, the superintendent and myself, regarding planning 10 and things like that. It was also the assistant superintendent. We definitely were told that those courses are not useful to our students.
And is a new career education course going to be used?
Having not seen it yet. I think the intent is to be clearer, more focused on sort of career preparation. So the planning 10 and the grad transitions, I think, I'm not speaking specifically about this district, but across the province, some schools did a spectacular job of it, and they were excellent and meaningful courses. Others, it was a hoop to jump, it was just a box to check, and those were disasters. So trying to get to something that feels a bit more like a course than something that was more nebulous.
Okay, seeing no other questions, thank you, Mr. Allen. Moving on to parent-teacher interview survey. Mr. Allen.
As you know, after each of the parent-teacher interview times, we surveyed parents. The first time we did it in the fall was an outstanding learning experience for all of us, especially for Tracy, who had to try, speaking of our survey process, who tried to collate insane amounts of anecdotal feedback. We got far better at the questions this time, and I think we have some great data to continue the conversation forward. So this is the raw data. We had over 500 people. It varied slightly because not everybody answered every question, but just over 500 responses. And we'll just sort of walk through those at the moment. So you can see we had more elementary, oops, sorry, you're ahead of me, Gina, we had more elementary than secondary. Parents, as you would expect, no sort of surprises in the breakdown of people that responded. This is the feedback from across the zones, and again, as we would expect, there's the most in central, then south, then north, then west. Just the population. Now we start to get to some interesting stuff. This is parents in the green. Our hours are flexible. One or both of us are available during the day, and we're not available till after 5. And so you can still see 50% of our parents really saying, and that does add up to 110%, but 50% of our parents saying we really need to do this outside of the day.
How does 50 and 50 add up to 110?
What was that, 25? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Printing's too faint.
Should be black.
I'll just read off these sheets. Is having a face-to-face meeting with your child's teacher important to you? Yeah. Pretty clear. That's great. We would expect nothing different. Now we sort of get into some of the more particular issues that we anticipated from the first time we tried this, which is there was a lot of confusion in the first round of, is it only that hour that I can have interviews with my child's teacher, or outside of that? So we asked a direct question. Did the teacher or the school make it clear to you that the 1 hour, in quotation marks, was not the only time available to meet with teachers? And yeah, we did a way better job of communicating that. So people knew they could book times outside of that 1 hour. Were you given clear directions on how to contact your child's teacher to book another meeting if the 1 hour time did not work for you? And the answer was yeah. Still enough that didn't. We need to do a better job there, but I was pleasantly surprised by this answer. If you're a working parent who is not available during the day, how easy was it to arrange a mutually agreed upon time to meet that worked for both yourself and the teacher?